Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mint Market. Uh, just for the beginning, let me tell you that all being said in this live stream is only my personal opinion and is no investment advice, and that you should not take any investment decisions based on what I'm saying here. I'm happy to be back. I had a couple of very intense days and weeks behind me, and I'm glad I find time now to do another stream of my personal analysis and trading session here in the S&P 500. I will give you my opinion about what the market is going to do, about my personal routine, and maybe I will be able to find some some live executions in my demo account here. Overall, let me say that I'm bullish on stocks at the moment. We had a very strong uptrend here. We can see there is no reason on being bearish. I think, however, that the levels of the stock markets, that the level is ridiculous. However, as long as I don't get any other indication that we go lower, significant shift in market structure on the bearish side, I will stay bullish on my day trading side until proven otherwise. So my long-term bias at the moment is bullish until proven otherwise. I have outlet. Let me check. Let us observe price here. We have an inversion fair value gap here. We have just swept targeted this fair value gap here. So that's a potential bullish entry here for me. And we have buy side liquidity above here. I haven't really finished my analysis, but I've been bullish already, and I will try to do a long here. Before finishing my analysis, but of course I did some research before already, and my stop will be below here. So we have, let me start, we have news with the economic calendar. We have news here. We had just news now at, at 10 a.m. We just had CB consumer confidence news here, and we saw a drop here, a retracement here, and we have liquidity here, and I think that's a potential draw as long as we stay above my stop here. So for me, buy side liquidity is at least these equal highs here, maybe even higher, and again, do not copy my trade. I'm just operating on a demo account so far, but I was favoring the long side all day, and I'm trying I will see if we can respect this down close candle here at 8 o'clock and this fair value gap here, and go higher and take out this buy side liquidity here. I didn't get the perfect entry here, but we are in the midpoint of this fair value gap here. So for me, that's a reasonable long here. What I want to see is that the bodies close above this fair value gap and above this fair value gap here, and ideally above this one as well. So let's see if we can, if I'm right with my expectation here. Also, we have a bigger fair value gap here on the 1 hour chart, and we are approximately here. We touched the midpoint, closed above the midpoint so far, and I would like to see a run higher from here. That's what I would favor. However, for me, it's important to observe where we close here. I would like to see it close the bodies close above the fair value gap low here at 494675. So we have a bullish order block here. We respected that so far. We had a second fair value gap here. It touched, it wicked into it, and we have a bigger fair value gap here, and I want to see how we react here and if the bodies close. And I would prefer the buy side liquidity here. Why? Because we have already retraced into a discount array here, and on the higher time frame I'm bullish until proven otherwise, and we have nice equal highs here. So that's what I would like to see. That's what I'm kind of expecting today, and I jumped right into it, took a trade, and I will stick with the trade and see what we get out. And we have 6 pips of risk here. That's not too bad. And actually what I want to do here is see if we can risk reduce the risk anytime soon in this trade. We have a stop of 1,500 potential loss if I'm wrong, which is less than 2% of my account. So that's 1% of my account, so that's all reasonable. And let's see what the market gives us. Let me continue with my daily routine and analysis. I jumped ahead with the trade. What I would like, what I like to do is define the opening range gap. this is the, so what I want to do is I want to reduce some risk here just a little bit. I will sell because I wanted to reduce. So yeah, I wanted to reduce the risk to 1,000, and so I banked some partial profits, so can't lose more than 800 now here, and the rest we will see how far we can go here. The stop is in place. If my stop gets taken here, I don't want to be long anymore, because for me that's not high probability anymore. Actually, what I want to do is I will put my target up. I'll put it, yeah, a little bit above the highest high here, and I want to work with a partial profit here, so I will put a limit order in place at 955. 955, sell 2 units. Yeah, so we'll put the sell limit. I'll place the sell limit just here. Above the equal highs here, and then another one, and the final take profit above the high of yesterday. So now we can let the trade run. We don't need to worry about trade management anymore at the moment. I can focus on the analysis now. We can also see that we have here basically revisited the fair value gap, the 15-minute from yesterday as well. And I want to outline the gap between yesterday's closing and today's opening at 9:30. And I want to draw this out until 4 o'clock today. So we have, so I outlined the gap now, the close of Monday's 4:10 p.m. New York local time, and the opening of today, Tuesday 30th, January 30th, 9:30 a.m. And this is our new opening range gap. And this opening range gap is a level of interest. Price uses this gap as support and resistance, and acts as a drawn price as well if we move away or come back from that price. So we have taken out minor buy side liquidity here, so we gotta consider that. So we have have taken out buy side liquidity here, just shallowly, but still. And we have to see if I would like to see more speed now. I don't want to see too deep of a retracement here. I would like to see this wick of the 15 minute 10 a.m. candle being respected, so approximately the 50% level of the wick. And yeah, we will see what we get. Here we have our new opening range gap. Range gap. Let's make it right. Top bottom is fine. Let's make it like this. And here we have buy side liquidity. And here I'm going to annotate the sell side liquidity of today. Okay, the reaction so far I don't like. I don't like to see that. That's not a good sign. That's not what I want to see. I would have liked to see more respect to the upside. I definitely don't want to see the candle close somewhere down here. I want to see it. We have just traded to the bottom of the opening range gap, and I'll see a rejection now and a run, energetic run higher here, and a close above the midpoint here where I basically just entered at the midpoint of the opening range gap. So if we measure the high to the low of the opening range gap, we have 50% level here around 4948.5, and that's I entered just above, so that's fine. And I would like to see the candle here at 10:15 close above my entry, ideally, and show some strength, some movement to the upside, not just a shallow sweep of the high here, but continuous run higher. It's a little bit stupid. I want to see that sell side liquidity here. All right. So far the reaction is favorable. But the trade is still a little bit choppy. It's not very determined. It's not very one-sided so far. It's still kind of indecisive, chopping around. Let's see what we get here. Yeah. I actually don't like that it's so indecisive, so I will take another. I just wanted to sell another contract, but I wanted it to do it in a profit. I don't want to have, but I was a little bit too slow here. Just want to reduce risk a little bit because I think it's, so I just reduced one more contract because I think it's chopping around a little bit too much for my liking. So I just want to remove my risk exposure here a little bit. So besides that, liquidity is here below this low here. If we break this low, in my opinion, we can go a little bit lower. We still have a void here unfilled and another fair value gap here. But that's just plan B at the moment. I'm still subscribing to the bias higher here, and I will stick to my trade even though with reduced leverage here. With reduced contracts, to be clear, not leverage. And let's check the previous day's range as well. We have, what I'm also doing is I'm checking the range of the yesterday's PM session. So the highest high to the lowest low of yesterday's PM session starting at 1:30. That's what I'm annotating here, and we can see the highest high is here, so that's a potential target here for 495.4956 even, and potential drawn liquidity to the downside would be 4922.25. So the high and the low of this specific session yesterday is a level of interest and a potential drawn liquidity. So if we would really go lower, my draw would be here 4922.25, and as long as we stay bullish, I'm targeting 4955.75. And also what's important to say is that we have non-farm payroll Friday today, so it's important to So what's also important is to mention is that we should not trade after Wednesday this week, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the most probable times. If we have a non-farm payroll event on Friday, I personally do not trade after Wednesday of non-farm payroll, and then I just resume trading again or after non-farm payroll. At the moment, I don't like the reaction, so this is not really what I want to see. I think the chances fall off. Here we should have, if this would be a good trade, we should have seen an immediate run higher. So even though the trade is still possible to pay out, the reaction is not good at this point. And we have already closed some partials here, but I'm thinking about reducing one more contract because I just want to reduce the potential of the negative impact on a stop out at this point, because this is not really favorable here so far. So I just closed one more contract. I also have to adjust the sell limit now here, because I don't want to go short at this point. So I reduce the sell limit, or I remove the sell limit completely, and also reduce the risk of our trade here. So I was confident initially. At the moment, I think the trade can still pay out, but I just want to reduce the risk here, because the reaction is not really how I like it. It's kind of we're still in the range from here to here. So what I'm seeing, so we're basically in the middle of the range from this high to this high. So I want to see movement and a breakout. I think we're still, the trade is, as long as we don't close below this fair value gap here, which starts, for me, starts at the high 494,675. As long as we don't close below 4,946.75, I'm staying bullish here. But again, I don't like the reaction here, but I don't care at this point. We had a partial close, so even if we get the stop out, the impact will be minor. If we trade below this low, and if the candles close below this low and stay below the low, I think we can go lower, deeper, and close in this this gap here, and maybe attack this sell side liquidity here. But as long as we stay inside this range, as long as we respect this fair value gap here and this here, and respect the low here, I think we still have a chance that we go higher, and which would be in line with my higher time frame bias here. Today, this is not a high probability session for me. I mean, I think I still favor the buy side still. I think it is at least 51 to 49 that we go higher, in my opinion, but it's not a super high probability session, in my opinion. We're still in this range, and we did not get speed and movement so far. If this would be a good long, we would have already traded higher here. In my opinion. And on the lower time frame, it is still messy. Look at this wick here. We took out the minor buy side liquidity here, and we have sell side resting below here. So, but let's see. I will commit to my trade, and everything is set up. We can check the dollar index in the meantime. A lower dollar would support higher stock markets. At the moment, it looks pretty consolidating as well. Actually, from this, if I just look at the dollar chart, I would actually favor the bullish side here. Let's look at the weekly chart as well. We have a swing high here, high, also a low, lower low, higher low, a higher low, lower low, higher low. So we have buy side liquidity here, but it's really also in a range bound kind of. So not really helpful, the dollar here, in my opinion, at the moment. A lower dollar would help in our case. Let's check out the Nasdaq as well. The Nasdaq actually dropped lower. We have a fair value gap here. The Nasdaq actually filled its void here completely. So if we look at this, gap, the Nasdaq actually was the weaker one here and traded into the second fair value gap as well here, and we saw a reaction higher since. Would be interesting to see if we can make a market structure shift here. We have a low, a high, a low. So if we trade higher here, we would have a market structure shift, which would indicate higher prices or a continuation higher. So with a lower low here and a higher low on the S&P, so that's also smart money divergence. So we have a low here from 8:30 and then a lower low here at 10 o'clock. And if we look at the S&P, we have a low at 8:30 and a higher low in the S&P. So that indicates firstly that the S&P is stronger than the Nasdaq, and also we have a divergence between the two indices. So that might indicate that we go higher here. But so far we're still chopping around. Trades like this are really frustrating. Actually, I'm thinking about closing it completely. I mean, since I already reduced the risk, I don't care too much about the stop out, and I don't want to kind of close the trade and then miss out. So here kicks the FOMO in, I guess. But from the reaction of price, I'm actually thinking about closing it because it's not really doesn't look really promising at the moment. And we have already 10:40, So we're already late in the session as well, and we still have no real movement here. So we just have to wait. What and if the market gives us something here, I guess. Still a chop on the lower time frames. I'm really thinking about closing the trade. I don't want to spend too much mental capital on this one. And it's boring. And so far, I would be still up. I would be still up 100. I'm still up 150. So if I close it here, I'm closing the day with a plus. So far, I would close with a plus. On the other hand, I want to show you a trade. I want to stay committed to my trade. I have my stop in place on a logical level. It's not too much risk, so on the other hand, I would be fine with taking a loss here. And here comes the psychology. In my head thinks as soon as you close it, it's running. And I hate the feeling. I hate the feeling when you close a trade prematurely and then it runs. Almost nothing worse than that in trading. At least for me. But sometimes it's also better to just close it. That doesn't look good at all. Let me check what the Nasdaq is doing. The Nasdaq is resuming lower. Okay, I think I'm just going to close the trade here. If it pans out, good. If not, I don't care. I'm closing it here. I don't want to spend more waiting time here. We might see a run at starting at 10.50, but I don't like the closing here. And so I can still finish the day with a small plus. We had 212 in partial profits and about 160 in partial losses, so I'm up on the day. Small, but still. And This is just a mess. There is one more thing I can check, or I would like to annotate, and that's if we have that's the new day opening gap. So let's see where that is. That's from Monday 4:55, and the difference between Monday 6 o'clock. So, but there is actually no difference. I think it's the same price. Close at 4950.25 and open at 4950.25. So we actually have no gap here. New day opening gap. We have a new week opening gap here. We can see yesterday, on Friday last week, January 26th, we had a close here, and we opened up here on Sunday 28th, January 24. So that's our new opening, a weekly opening gap, sorry. I hope we're actually live. I hope we're actually recording. Nice. We do. And I hope we're actually. Yeah. Also, if you want to get news about the channel and everything, I would be very happy about the thumbs up on or a subscription of the Mint Markets channel on YouTube, and you can also follow us on Twitter, Mint Markets FX. I post trade ideas and examples there, even outside of the live streams, and I post news here if there are any. So if you want to follow me along here as well, make sure you follow me on X as well. And now, since I closed the trade, we will most likely see a run higher now to our targets. And again, the time I'm watching is 10:50. If we see a run, I expect it starting 10:50, between 10:50 and 11:10. And I'm also observing if the bodies here close at this fair value gap low, or if we close below. So far, it's not a favorable trade environment. And what a last thing I want to check is where we are at in relation to midnight's price here. I haven't checked it so far. So Tuesday midnight, that's here. So at the moment, so I will reduce that. And we have here the opening price. Yeah, that fits perfectly. And that's New York midnight price. And now we are in the time window of 10:50 to 11:10. So we might see a run during this time period, a move starting during this time period to the upside or to the downside. I'm still favoring the upside, but I'm not positioned yet because I don't want to wait so long for my money, my demo money. Really unspectacular today. When I opened, we were like here, and we're still inside the range of this high and this low here. So we were chopping around the whole session here. So that's not really exciting. Hard to do trades and hard to talk about interesting things. We can do another. Yeah, so we can see that the Nasdaq is trying to go lower. And the Nasdaq might attack. The Nasdaq might try to attack these lows here. So what I'm looking for the Nasdaq at that point is 17,583.75. Let's see if the ES can follow along. We took out the buy side liquidity here, even though just shallowly, and I'm watching if we can trade through this low here and close below this low here, because then I think we will go to, we might go to as low as might go as low as 4922.25 in the S&P. Or at least fill the fair value gap here, or touch the fair value gap here, starting at 4,930. But let's see. All right, there is nothing interesting anymore for me in this session. Nothing I can take a trade on, or I'm willing to take a trade on. Again, buy side liquidity we have here, sell side liquidity we have here. So I think if we, as long as we just sweep this high maybe shallowly and go back above it. I think still buy side liquidity is a likely draw. I'm still bullish on the higher time frame. If we trade through this low, close below, stay below, I think we could visit this 1 hour fair value gap here at 4930 and go as low as 4922.25. So that's it for today. I'm going to close the session here. And I would be happy if you leave a like or a subscription here. I hope you got something out of this. I will try to be back with another live stream as soon as possible. And I will try to do it tomorrow. And I wish you a great afternoon. Bye and have a good one.